Okay, guys. Since I just got back from a 2 day long trip, and right at the end of uh, kind of the weekly maintenance of my invertebrates, I got not really behind, but where I need to catch up. So I'm doing maintenance tonight, which means feeding a lot of my spiders, especially the smaller ones. So I figured might as well video it and hopefully entertain you guys in the meantime. So as you can see, there are 5 enclosures in front of you with 5 feeders on top. I'm hoping to give you the best look that I can of each one of these guys, and fingers crossed we get some good takedowns. So guys, get ready. Let's watch some feedings. Alright, so I'm going to start with my Aphanopelma simani slings. These are the 2 slings that I got free from Edward Tyndall in a giveaway that he did. A friend of mine actually won, and he gave them to me. I won one sling, but Edward sent me 2 because he's that cool. So what we're going to do, I tried to feed them a couple of days ago. They rejected food. It may have just been the size of the feeders. These guys usually have a pretty good feeding response, so let's see what happens when we put a couple of pinners in there. Immediately noticing movement. And a strike, but no takedown. This is how they have been behaving. The last time I fed them, actually, they kind of did this. As soon as the feeders kind of entered their enclosure and started moving around, they took notice of them and they struck at them. There we go. There's a takedown. And a happy dance as well. Here you go, buddy. Shake what your mama gave you. Come on, give us some more happy dance. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Many of you are probably too young to even know that song, but that was one that I grew up on. Alright, so this one's probably not going to do much more for us. Let's see if the other one's hungry. And here is the second one. As you can see, he's a little more like skittish. They're kind of curious, but at the same time, they're kind of skittish. So you can see this one's running around, not sure what's going on, looking where it can go hide and get away from the light or whatever. Let's put some feeders in and see if we can't pacify it. There we go. Second Asimani sling fed. Will we get any kind of dance this time? Yay or nay? I'm really starting to get kind of fond of these Asimani slings because of their behavior. They just got some pretty interesting behaviors. As you saw when I opened this one's enclosure, it was like freaking out, like all over the place, like Barney Fife back in the day when the car backfired. Didn't know which direction to run, where to hide. Again, that's probably something that some of you youngsters don't know anything about. Anyway, there is my second tarantula sling fed. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so here's another sling that's quickly becoming one of my favorites. It's starting to get more curious and less skittish. And actually the other day, after I did my feeding video before I left on my work trip, I fed all the guys that I knew needed to be fed before I left. And this one was out, and I just decided to take a chance. And I actually offered it a small roach on the tongs, and it was out on the webbing, hanging out, which up until a couple of weeks ago was kind of a rare sight, because as soon as you touch its enclosure, it would run down into one of its many holes that it has. But it was out on the webbing and not really moving or trying to get away. And so I thought, well, while it's out, I might as well try to feed it because it had been a couple of days. As soon as I put the roach down in there, it snatched it out of the tongs and disappeared. It was the most awesome takedown I'd ever seen, but I didn't get it on video. So let's try to see if we can at least even get a mediocre takedown here tonight. Now you can see this one's abdomen is quite dark and plump and shiny. So it may be in a pre-molt, but I thought that the other day. And that's why I offered it the pinhead, and it snatched it off the tongs. This time it doesn't seem to be as interested. And I believe it may be in a pre-molt at this point. which is what I was trying to get it to. This is one of those I'm trying to get to grow as quick as I can. You can see clearly it is not hungry, and if you look at that abdomen, it's in a pre-molt. So we're going to leave it alone now, spritz a little water in there, and move on to the next one. Up next, we have every tarantula hobbyist's favorite, except for mine, right now. This is one I'm hoping will kind of grow on me. This is the freebie that I got. This is the Tarantulas marinus, or the orange baboon tarantula. I'm going to offer it a small roach, and let's see what happens. Now, the other day, I turned the roach loose in there, and it had to strike at it 2 or 3 times before it finally got it, but I'm going to see if I can't just kind of drop it right down in that web tube and watch it struggle, and maybe watch the OBT hunt it. Now, I mentioned this is my first OBT. I was leery of them for quite a while because of their reputation. I know there's lots of tarantulas out there that get a bad rep, and this is one of them. I'm hoping that being the owner of one of them will help change that. This one's, it's taken to this one plant right here out of quite a large enclosure. I did that on purpose so I wouldn't have to rehouse it as frequently, again, because of the reputation. But I've gotten so many comments from other people that say they love them, and even Tom Moran sent me a comment on this video, on my unboxing video the other day, saying, you know, I love the OBT, and mine's a sweetheart, believe it or not, and she's a beauty. And so I'm really hoping that this spiderling will change my mind about them. I don't dislike them or hate them or anything like that. I just, right now, I'm not fond of them. So hopefully this will change my mind as this spider bores the heck out of us. So let's move on to another one that I hope we get a really good look at. All right, so we're going to move on to, at this point, my favorite and most valuable and rarest sling in my collection. This one is one that I just got the other day. The scientific name for this one is the Bonatina cyanofemur. I believe that's how you pronounce it. The common name is the Mexican blue femur. They are pretty new into the hobby at this point. There's very little information at all out there about these guys. So not a whole lot is known on their care. Me being one of the first YouTubers to feature this tarantula, I hope to contribute to the information and everything to the care on these spiders. Now, the other day I did feed this one, and it was in its hide. And if you saw that video, it quickly grabbed the food from its hide, so you didn't get to see it very much. But you can see this is a beautiful tarantula, and from the images I've seen from adults, they're quite beautiful as well. They're a lot like the GBB, where they look different as a sling as opposed to an adult. And if you'll take notice of the abdomen on this one, you'll see kind of a spot on the abdomen that other people commented and said kind of looks like my Seriocosmus leetzi, or, you know, the other dwarf species. And I said, yeah, that's kind of true, but they're not a dwarf species as far as I know. And this is a beautiful spider. I can't get over it. So let's see if I drop a roach in, if it's hungry. This is another one I'm trying to kind of power feed, and very quick takedown. That's one thing to note about this species so far, guys. Both times when this spider was within range of its prey, it did a very quick takedown on it. So these guys have an awesome feeding response, as you can see. It seems to be a quite docile species so far. As I mentioned the other day when I unboxed it, I just looked in on it. I was putting lights on it, cameras on it, and everything, and it just kind of stayed out here in the open. And I got quite a few beautiful photographs of it. You see, that's not the spider twitching, that is the roach fighting for its life. I got quite a few beautiful photographs of it, and then I sent them to some of my YouTube friends, Norvis from Eight-Legged Critters, Jonathan Tennessee Tarantulas, Tom Moran, and they all commented on how beautiful the spider was. And so I'm really hoping to kind of contribute to the hobby with the care of this tarantula. It's quite a beautiful little sling. Very striking. They kind of have the GBB look on the legs with those like kind of orange stockings or whatever, but they've got that dark carapace and then that little spot on the abdomen, which is quite fascinating. So I'm really, really into watching this thing grow and kind of change. They strike me, from what I've seen of this guy and from what I've seen from the adult photos, they're a good bit different. So they strike me as being similar to the GBB, as in they look different as slings than they do as adults, but they just go through beautiful transformations throughout. You can see this is a beautiful species. It's quite calm. I mean, I'm turning the enclosure and doing all kinds of things, but it's got that food in its jaws now, and it's just not ready to let go and do anything else. This is a really, really awesome spider so far. I hope it continues that way, because just such a cool little sling. All right, so that ends the feeding of basically a lot of my smaller tarantulas. I still got more tarantulas to feed, so I'm going to do another video, which is going to be some of my larger spiders. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and a comment. If you hated this video, unsubscribe to me. No, I'm just kidding. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that. Share this video with your friends if you think they would really enjoy it. I hope you all have a great morning, day, night, wherever you're at. And don't forget, guys, take care of yourselves and each other, and may God bless every one of you.